여러분 안녕하세요. 2024 세계 한인 입양 동포대회 온라인 입양 동포 단체장 포럼 진행을 맡은 재동포청 차세대 동포 인권가의 김성준 사무관입니다. 네, 바쁘신 일정 속에서도 이번 온라인 포럼을 위해 참석해 주신 입양 동포 단체장 여러분들께 진심으로 감사의 말씀을 드립니다. 2024년 온라인 입양 동포 단체장 포럼은 재동포청이 주최하고 2024년 세계 한인 입양 동포 대회의 사전 행사로서 2023년도에 세계 한인 입양 동포 대회에서 채택한 참가자의 선언문의 효과적인 이행을 위한 입양 동포 단체장들의 의견 수렴과 이번 5월에 개최되는 2024년 세계 한인 입양 동포 대회의 효과적인 그룹 토의 시행을 위해 개최되었습니다. 5월에 개최되는 본 행사의 그룹 토의를 위해서 오늘 포럼을 통해서 활발한 토론 협조 부탁드리겠습니다. 2024년 온라인 코리안 어답티 네트워크 리더스 포럼 재동포청 차세대 동포 인권가의 김채용 과장님의 환영사가 있겠습니다.
네, 안녕하십니까. 반갑습니다. 재동포청 차세대 동포 인권과장 김채영입니다. 네, 바쁘신 중에도 이렇게 시간을 내어서 2024 온라인 입양동포 단체장 포럼에 참석해 주신 여러분 모두 감사합니다. 2023년 6월에 재동포청이 설립되었고 9월부터 차세대 동포 인권과의 업무가 시작이 되었습니다. 새롭게 만들어진 조직에서 새로운 직원들과 이제 막 시작된 우리 과의 업무가 더욱 발전할 수 있도록 여러분들의 많은 도움을 기대하겠습니다. 오늘 포럼은 시차 문제를 감안해서 북미, 유럽을 나누어서 진행합니다. 오전에는 북미 지역 단체장들과 토론을 나누었습니다. 네, 온라인으로 먼저 여러분과 이렇게 인사를 나누고 소통을 하면서 여러분의 의견을 많이 듣고 싶습니다. 오늘을 시작으로 지속적인 소통을 통해서 우리나라와 입양동포 간 교류 협력 방향을 함께 모색해 보고자 합니다. 특히 오늘 포럼의 중요한 의견들을 토대로 해서 2024 세계 한인 입양동포 대회의 지역별 토론에서 좋은 의견이 나올 수 있도록 발전시켜 나가겠습니다. 재해동포청은 앞으로도 입양동포의 네트워크 구축 및 교류 협력 강화를 위해서 여러분과 지속적으로 소통하겠습니다. 네, 오늘 온라인 포럼에 참여해 주신 여러분께 다시 한번 진심으로 감사드리고 환영드리고 포럼이 성공적으로 개최될 수 있도록 여러분의 적극적인 토론과 제언 부탁드리겠습니다. 감사합니다.
네. 차세대 동포 인권과의 김채영 과장님의 인사 말씀 감사합니다. 네, 본격 포럼 시작하기 전에 이번 간단하게 2023년 세계 한인 입양 동포 대회에서 채택한 미션 스테이트먼트와 또 포럼의 취지, 그 다음에 5월에 진행될 2024년 세계 한인 입양 동포 대회의 목표, 2023년 재외동포청의 주요 추진 경과, 그리고 2024년 재외동포청의 주요 추진 계획에 관련해서 발표하겠습니다. 먼저 2023년도 세계 한인 입양 동포 대회에서 채택한 주요 내용에 관련해서는 지금 화면에서 영어와 불어로 제공되기 때문에 지금 이제 메시지를 보시면 채팅창에 볼 수 있는 방법에 대해서 설명이 있을 겁니다. 해서 자료를 이렇게 확인하시면 되고요. 2023년의 선언문은 2023년 세계 한인 입양 동포 대회 개최와 관련해서 참가자들의 지역별 토의와 입양 동포 단체 간 네트워킹을 통해 채택된 첫 한인 입양 동포 선언문입니다. 이 선언문에는 크게 네 가지 주요 내용이 담겨져 있습니다. 첫째, 입양 동포와 대한민국 간의 상호 발전을 위해 적극 노력하고, 두 번째, 세계 평화와 인류 공영에 이바지하며 한국과의 유대감을 강화하고 입양동포 차세대를 위한 능동적인 환경 구축을 위해서 상호 노력을 하고, 세 번째, 한국의 발전상 알리기 사업에 적극적으로 참여하며, 끝으로 네 번째, 글로벌 한인 네트워크 확장에 기여하자라는 네 가지 내용으로 담겨져 있습니다. 이 미션 스테이트먼트의 도출 과정과 관련해서는 세션 2에서 로랑 두몰리옹님께서 설명을 주실 거라고 생각됩니다. 그럼 다음 이번 포럼 취지와 2024년 세계 한인 입양 동포 대회 목표에 대해서 간단히 말씀을 드리겠습니다. 이번 포럼은 입양 동포 단체장들의 의견과 재원을 통해 2023년 세계 한인 입양동포 대회 참가자 선언문의 이행 방안과 입양동포 단체 네트워크 구축 및 교류 협력 강화 방안에 대하여 논의하기 위해 기획되었습니다. 이 오늘 논의될 주요 내용들은 2024년 세계 한인 입양동포 대회 그룹 토의 시 반영될 예정입니다. 또한 오늘 포럼에 참가한 일부 단체장님들은 2024년 세계 한인 입양동포 대회 그룹 토의 시 자장 역할을 수행하기 위해서 초청되었습니다. 2024년 세계 한인 입양동포 대회 목표는 지난 2021년 세계 한인 입양동포 대회가 개최된 이래 2023년부터 단순 모국 방문이 아닌 입양 동포 간 네트워크 연대 강화 기회를 통한 글로벌 코리안 네트워크 활성화에 있습니다. 다음으로 2023년 재동포청 주요 추진 경과에 대해서 말씀을 드리겠습니다. 입양 동포와 관련된 사업 위주로 설명을 드리겠습니다. 제도적 측면으로서는 2023년 6월 재외동포청이 설립한 이래 재외동포청은 재외동포 정책 추진 로드맵과 재외동포 정책에 관한 범정부 5개년 종합계획을 수립하였습니다. 특히 제1차 재외동포 정책 기본계획을 수립함에 있어서 우리 입양동포와 관련돼서는 기본계획의 네 가지 정책 목표 중에서 세 번째 정책 목표인 국격에 걸맞은 동포 보호 및 지원 강화에 이거 해외 입양인의 권익 증진을 위해서 해외 입양인 네트워크 구축 및 권익 신장 지원의 시행 계획을 마련하였습니다. 2024년 재외동포청의 주요 추진 계획에 대해서 말씀을 드리겠습니다. 잘 아시는 것처럼 올해 5월에 다음 달이죠. 2024년 세계 한인 입양 동포 대회가 개최될 예정입니다. 현재 14개국에 96명의 입양 동포분들이 같이 함께할 예정입니다. 또한 입양 동포 단체 지원 사업을 지속적으로 시행할 예정입니다. 올해는 심의를 통해서 9개국 17개 단체 17개 사업을 지원할 예정입니다. 특히 입양동포 단체 지원 사업은 입양동포 자생단체를 우선 지원하고 차세대 해외 입양동포 네트워크 구축 및 활성화를 통한 상호 교류 및 연대 강화에 부합하는 사업 지원에 집중되어 있습니다. 또한 아동권리보장원 NCRC의 국외 입양인 사후 서비스 공모 사업 선정 심의를 협력해서 진행을 하고 NCRC가 지원하는 사업은 총 13개 사업으로 구성되어 있습니다. 네, 끝으로 권익신장 지원은 저희 재외동포청에서 이 담당하는 다른 부서에서 해외 입양동포의 권익신장을 위한 연구과제를 발굴하고 입양동포 대상 지원 정책 개발을 위해서 올해 정책 연구 용역이 계획되어 있습니다. 네, 이것으로 제가 간단하게 오늘 포럼의 목표와 또 다가오는 세계 한인 입양동포 대회에 대한 내용들, 또한 재외동포청의 지난 추진 경과 및 올해 계획에 대해서 말씀을 드렸습니다. 그럼 첫 번째 세션 입양동포 단체 네트워크 구축 강화 방안을 시작으로 본격적인 토론을 시작하겠습니다. 네, 토론 진행은 아이카 부회장이신 리사 달그렌 님이 수고해 주시겠습니다. 패널로는 AKF의 사무총장인 안 루이스 홀딩 님, 그리고 라시네 꼬레네스의 회장 로랑 드몰리옹 님이 자리해 주셨습니다. 네, 패널의 발언이 끝난 후에 참가자분들의 의견을 발표할 수 있는 시간이 있으니 자유로운 의견 발표 부탁드리겠습니다. 참석해 주신 좌장 및 패널 분들께 감사의 말씀을 드리고, 그럼 지금부터 좌장님께 마이크를 넘겨드리도록 하겠습니다.
So, hello, and nice to meet you. My name is already introduced, so to say, by the moderator. So my name is Annis Halding. I'm representing the adopted Korean network called AKF, which is a Swedish association that was founded already back in 1986, and is the oldest independent Korean adoptee network in the world, which is quite cool, I must say. We have also been one of the active partners to start up the IKAA as well. So we have been around, and one of our main objectives, we have many objectives, but we are a religious and political free association, non-profit, that is supposed to promote and connect adoptees in the country of Sweden. And we have two units. We have the AKF region of Stockholm, but also the AKF region of Gothenburg. So we are two different organizations trying to arrange activities, getting the network closer, etc. I would say that since we are an organization that we have been around, so we as an organization is well established, we still see that we need to actively try to find ways to reach out to new members, tell people about us, that the adoptees all over Sweden knows about us, because we see that I think many of you also have a bit challenge on finding efficient communication and hosting, setting up activities with the resources and the limited time that we all have, but still also have it relevant for both the members that we do serve, but also finding activities that would be interesting for new potential members. We have been performing a mix of activities related to more social gatherings. That could be one thing. We have arranged after work social meetings, different kind of culture events, as having visiting Korean artists and have workshops together with members of the network to create art related to adoptees. that was also highly appreciated. Some of the other activities is, of course, related now to the findings, as Sweden has now stopped the adoption from November last year. Sweden are no longer accepting out overseas adoptees from Korea due to that. Sweden has found out that there are some irregularities in the paperwork and also some parallel paperwork, which is now part of an investigation run by the government. And we are of course, also very interested in understanding the outcome of the Truth Commission that also will come later this September. So given that, we will give both a lot of attention in the media, but also a chance to even further connect and help and support our network by informing where's information, what kind of help is possible, but also be a forum where you can discuss and have opinions related to these topics. So that is a bit on the AKF Sweden where we are. We are also arranging other activities related to being a Korean, being an adoptee. We have also invited for a digital seminar together with representatives from the Danish team that is now driving this lawsuit against the Korean government. Peter Möller and his colleagues, so to say. So we are very interested to hear what their comments and more information about that later this May. I would say one of our strengths and weaknesses as an organization, as AKF, as I mentioned, we are an old organization, so we have an established process and structure. But in the same time, we try to see how we can also find the new members and be relevant and trying to have a bit more facts when we talk about we want to reach out to others, but who are they and what type of need do they have? Because there is a few data and few statistics or analytics, what do our members want going forward. So that's one thing. Not sure if anyone has any questions, reflections. Do you recognize this, or do your organization has a bit of different approach?
Thank you so much, Anne-Louise, for sharing about the AKF organizations. I think we can open up the floor a bit later. Yes. And with that, I think we are ready to hand over to Laurent Dumoulin, who is the president of Racine Korean. We can go ahead and share.
Bonjour. Alors bonjour. Bon, j'avais pas compris que je devais présenter Racine Korean, mais du coup je vais vous présenter quand même. Mais bon, je sais que la plupart d'entre vous seront indulgents, étant donné que on se connaît déjà. Alors, Racine Korean a été créé en 1995, donc on est une vieille association. Donc, notre association travaille sur plusieurs points. Donc, il y a sur la culture. Donc, on fait beaucoup de rassemblements culturels. On travaille aussi sur des projets avec la seconde génération et il y a aussi l'adoption. Donc, je vais développer un petit peu ces points-là. Donc, on a la seconde génération. Donc, pour les enfants d'adopter, on crée pas mal d'événements cette année. Notamment avec Naëlys qui porte le projet. Donc, c'est une seconde génération qui va s'occuper d'organiser des rassemblements avec eux. Bien sûr, on les intègre aux événements, à tous nos événements, hein, ceux qui sont ouverts à tout le monde. Donc, ils participent déjà activement à toutes ces activités-là. Nous avons également des projets qui sont autour de l'adoption. Donc, on a formé aussi un groupe de parole qui n'a aucun but thérapeutique. Donc là, on se regroupe et puis on parle de notre expérience, nos expériences autour de l'adoption. Depuis quelque temps aussi, on a une place au CNA. Donc le CNA, c'est le Conseil national de l'adoption, donc qui est une instance gouvernementale en tant que conseil sur les adoptions. Donc ça a été créé l'année dernière, il me semble. Et il y a eu un rapport très récent sur les adoptions illégales qui ont été commises en France et qui concernent tous les pays dans le monde, enfin du moins les pays avec lesquels la France a fait des adoptions en fait. Donc voilà, donc ça c'est un gros volet sur lequel on se penche avec d'autres associations d'adoptés d'autres origines. Actuellement. Et il va y avoir des recommandations. Donc, on est en train de travailler sur ça avec le gouvernement. Donc, c'est pour améliorer un petit peu il y a différents sujets. Donc, c'est pour améliorer un petit peu le futur des adoptés, peut-être si ça continue. Donc, ils se servent de l'expérience de tout le monde pour faire des recommandations sur les futures lois qui vont concerner l'adoption. Donc, il y a tout un volet qui va être aussi sur le passé. Et voilà, actuellement, c'est un assez gros volet concernant l'adoption. On va avoir également de nouveaux événements l'année prochaine, qui va être la journée de l'adoption, donc, parce qu'on pense que c'est important d'informer les adoptés sur l'histoire de l'adoption, sur l'histoire de la Corée, et aussi d'amener le débat sur ce sujet-là. Il va y avoir aussi un autre événement qui est un week-end entre adoptés. Donc là, ça va être plus pour parler entre nous des questions liées à l'adoption, mais aussi voilà, de nouer du lien. Et comme vous le savez tous, on a également des rassemblements culturels. Donc là, on se regroupe, c'est plus pour autour de la culture coréenne. Donc notamment, on fait des ateliers culturels pour les enfants. Ah, j'ai oublié, ça concerne la seconde génération. Donc on fait des ateliers culturels au centre culturel, donc pour avec les enfants. Donc il y a de la calligraphie, il y a de la peinture, différentes activités. Sinon, on a des rassemblements où on va au restaurant, tout simplement. Et puis, on a notre célèbre fête sur la péniche où là, c'est beaucoup plus festif. Donc là, on danse et tout. Et aussi, vous êtes tous les bienvenus et invités pour ce jour qui va se dérouler le 15 juin. Donc, vous pouvez noter dans vos agendas. Et on a loué une péniche sur laquelle on va manger de la musique, on va manger de la musique coréenne et on va écouter un repas coréen. Voilà. Qu'est-ce que je voulais dire d'autre? Mais pour l'année prochaine, on va aussi refaire une superbe fête pour les 30 ans de Racine coréenne, donc en 2025. Donc, on a comme objectif déjà, c'est de faire une fête pour les 30 ans de Racine coréenne, donc en 2025, qui se déroulerait aux alentours du 2 juin. Et puis, comme vous le savez, il y a aussi le Gathering au Danemark, donc on compte bien aussi y participer et peut-être contribuer, donc à voir, voilà. Voilà pour ma présentation, j'ai fini.
Thank you very much, Laurent. So, I would like to open up the floor for additional comments or observations related to the topics, which is then strengthening Korean adoptee network. So please use the raise hand function in Zoom. Yes, so we have Tom Evers from AKF Gothenburg. Please go ahead. You are on mute.
Hi. I was actually part of the OKA 2023, and was part of bringing forward this draft that we are discussing today. But as you know, AKF Sweden, we do have a problem since Korea is now also reaching out to our children. Our statutes are prohibiting our children to become members of our organizations. So that's a problem for the future, I think. That was about it.
Yes. Thank you very much, Tom, for sharing. So please just use the raise hand button if you have anyone else want to share.
Can I say something? I think I raised my hand, but not
Okay,
sure.
yes, now I can see it. Yes.
You can see that.
So,
Okay.
Yes, so
So
please go ahead.
thank you very much. I'm Kim Gregor from Korea, Italy, the Italian Association, and I'd like to follow up on the last comment. That's very true. We're also asking ourselves, who are we here for? So who are we serving? In the beginning, of course, it used to be Korean adoptees, but now we have children of children, and sometimes we've encountered resistance even amongst ourselves towards having these children of children become full members. So, for example, we develop different types of membership, but is this a discrimination? We should really discuss this, because the last thing we all want, I think, is to discriminate. We also talked about other relatives, so family members, which status will they have? And because Italy hasn't totally closed adoptions from Korea, we have a number of very young children who we call the young generation Korean adoptees. So these would be minors. And that's another issue, because can we legally reach out to them? No, of course, we need to go through their parents. Finally, there's a general public interest towards Korea. We know about the Korean wave, fashion, K-pop, and everything. So should we also open up to these people? And so once again, thank you for raising this question. We're sharing the same issues, and also regarding different groups of potential members and friends to Korean adoptees associations. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much. Yes, I see that as a relevant question, as we now have many adoptees who are older and whose children are very much interested as well. Any final comments, questions? Okay, Jenny is at a raised hand. Jenny from Korean Club and President of Korean Club. Please go ahead.
I just kind of lost my raise my hand button. I don't know what it is. I'm sorry. Well, we are having the same problems in Denmark, and we are actually going to rewrite our bylaws this year to make sure that we make it possible for our children to become a member of Korea Club and not only a supportive member. So we will we will pave the road, so we will be ready if the children of us would be ready to take over some of these unions after us, because we are now, like Sweden, also closing down for transnational adoptions. So there will come no more adoptees from South Korea as it is at this point of view. So we have to be thinking about the future. Yeah, I just think it's something that we all have in all over the world, these problems with us closing down in maybe 20 years if we don't accept new members to our associations. And I also know that we have this discussion in ICA as well, and we have opened up for Chinese adoptees as well, because Korean adoptees kind of we had like a small number of adoptees from Korea, but the high number is coming from China. And I don't know if we have a lot of adoptees from China and Denmark, but we certainly have to think about what we're going to do if you want to keep our organization live longer than just for the next past 10 years. So, yeah. And I just want to say to all of you, it's correct that like we were told by Laurent, that next year we hope that a lot of you will join in to our 35th years anniversary in Denmark, Copenhagen in July. But we will send out more information later after the summer holiday. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much. I think we are a bit late on time, but Laurent, if you have final comments on this topic, please go ahead.
Ben moi, je voulais rebondir un petit peu sur ce qui vient d'être dit. Nous, au sein de Racine Coréenne, on a des événements qui sont vraiment focalisés sur la seconde génération. On a également des événements qui sont dédiés aux adoptés, mais on a aussi des grands rassemblements où on accueille tout le monde, parce que pour nous, c'est vraiment très important d'intégrer aussi les conjoints ou alors d'autres personnes, même des amis, en fait, parce que quand les autres ils comprennent mieux l'adoption, ben, c'est mieux nous comprendre nous et mieux nous comprendre nous-mêmes. Donc, c'est vraiment important d'intégrer tout le monde. Donc, on a deux sortes d'adhésion. On a l'adhésion individuelle et l'adhésion familiale. Donc, ça englobe déjà la famille et tout le monde peut participer à nos événements. Donc, nous, on est vraiment dans le rassemblement et pas du tout la discrimination. Donc, tout le monde est le bienvenu dans notre association. Également, les personnes qui sont françaises, qui soutiennent notre engagement et qui veulent soutenir l'association. Donc, c'est vraiment pour nous important d'unir tout le monde. Donc, voilà, c'est ce que je voulais rajouter. Merci.
Thank you very much for those final closing words on this topic. I think it's now time to move on to our second session topic. It is about implementing the 2023 OK Gatherings mission statement. And I believe we have Nicolas Reier from Racine Coréenne. If you would like to go ahead and present.
예, 네, 그럼 두 번째 세션 2023년 대회 선언문 도출 과정과 이행 방안에 대해서 시작하겠습니다. 패널로는 코리아의 이사 보드 멤버이신 킴 그레고님, 그리고 한국 뿌리협회 이사이신 보드 멤버 니콜라스 레이어님 자리해 주셨습니다. 특별히 이번 세션에서는 2023년 세계 한인 입양 동포 대회 참가자였던 한국 뿌리협회 회장이신 로랑 두몰랑님이 2023년도의 대회 미션 스테이트먼트 도출 과정에 대한 설명을 시작으로 토론 진행하겠습니다. 네, 로랑님, 네, 설명 부탁드리겠습니다.
Oui, donc je vais présenter un petit peu ce qui s'est passé à l'OCA. C'était un rassemblement qui a duré 5 jours la dernière fois. Notamment, j'ai rencontré Tom qui est présent là aujourd'hui. Donc, c'était vraiment bien. Ça rassemblait des adoptés de partout dans le monde, en fait. Lors de ce rassemblement au CA. Donc, on était tous réunis. C'est avant tout un voyage qui était pour favoriser les adoptés qui ne sont jamais retournés en Corée. Donc, c'était super émouvant. Donc, moi, je suis allé à ce voyage avec ma sœur. Donc, j'ai été adopté avec une sœur coréenne. Également, on a amené nos parents adoptifs qui sont venus en Corée pour la première fois. Donc, ma sœur, c'était aussi également la première fois son voyage. Donc, j'ai voulu leur faire découvrir un petit peu la Corée. Donc, il y a eu ce rassemblement qui a permis aussi de connaître plein d'adoptés partout dans le monde et de se réunir, un petit peu comme lors des rassemblements des gatherings avec l'ICA. Donc là, on était tous dans le même hôtel. Donc c'était un hôtel qui était assez prestigieux et on a mangé de la nourriture assez prestigieuse. Donc je pense aussi qu'il y a eu une volonté de pas trop déstabiliser. Donc on a mangé chaque jour un petit peu européen, un petit peu coréen, un petit peu japonais. Donc on n'était pas trop dépaysés. Après, ce qui était intéressant, c'est que du coup, il y avait des discussions entre les adoptés. Il y a eu aussi une session, donc une session où il y avait une présentation un petit peu du paysage institutionnel. Donc, il y avait comme invité Gaulle, par exemple. Il y avait toute une partie sur le visa F4. Il y avait également le NCRC qui était invité, donc les gens pouvaient leur poser aussi des questions sur la recherche d'origine et les différents droits que les adoptés ont. Il y avait aussi un aspect culturel, donc on a pu faire des activités culturelles, donc c'était du taekwondo, c'était faire de la cuisine, etc. Donc ça, c'était super intéressant pour un premier retour, j'ai trouvé. Et après, il y avait une visite d'un musée. Donc pour découvrir un petit peu l'art coréen, donc il y avait les anciennes poteries du Céladon, il y avait des statues bouddhistes, etc. Et nous avons également fait une journée où on a visité un musée, donc c'était le musée de Hyundai. Donc là, c'était très intéressant également. Ce qui était bien pour les Français, c'est qu'il y avait un traducteur pour pour les Français. Donc, vu qu'on est assez nul en anglais, ça c'était un peu l'avantage entre guillemets pour les Français. Et, voilà, ça s'est déroulé donc sur 5 jours. C'était assez intéressant. Il y avait aussi ce genre de réflexion. Donc, il y avait plusieurs groupes où il y avait une réflexion par groupe sur l'amélioration et le networking entre adoptés. Donc, voilà un petit peu le programme qu'il y a eu l'année dernière. C'était très intéressant et je trouve que pour un premier retour au pays, vraiment, l'OCA fait bien les choses et je trouve que la volonté de l'OCA également d'améliorer leur programme justement en prenant contact avec l'ICA, avec nous, les différentes associations, va permettre de travailler et d'améliorer le premier retour pour les adoptés coréens et c'est super important et incroyable que le gouvernement puisse mettre ça en place pour justement nous aider à se réconcilier ou à retrouver notre pays d'origine. Voilà.
감사합니다. 그럼 이어서 토론 진행하도록 하겠습니다. 자장님, 토론 진행 부탁드립니다.
Yes, thank you very much for sharing, Laurent, about the OK gathering and to hear about the efforts made for the programming. So thank you. Our next speaker is then Kim Gigo from Korea, the Italian Association.
Hi, hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. My name is Kim Gregor, and as I said before, I here represent Korea, the Italian Association. I should, however, say that I'm not a board member. I am, say, an associate honorary board member, and this is because I'm the one who speaks English. But I'll come back to this point in a minute. So with this association, Korea was first created in 2012, and it ran for a number of years up until 2023. Last year, we decided to refound our association anew with the same name. It's a different spelling, but it's basically the same name. We did this for fiscal reasons, and so we incorporated the same members, we have the same vision, but we could also say that we are a new and very young association as well. So one of the objectives, the main objective of our association, is to help Korean adoptees get closer to their home country, to Korea, of course, but also at the same time to increase our cooperation with local Korean associations throughout Europe, I would say, because we are European, and also with other associations worldwide. So what's the point? Gatherings in Korea, we have a number. European gatherings of Korean adoptees, we also have a great number. But something that Laurent hinted at before is the language issue. And I'm very sorry to say that very few Italian Korean adoptees speak English, which of course makes it a problem, because it's difficult to go to Korea to gatherings. And when we tell our associates, our members, look, but there is English interpreting services. So they would say, well, it doesn't change anything because Korean English is as alien as Korean to me. So that's sounds like a basic problem, but it is a big problem. So we would like to suggest more gatherings in Korea who make use of translation services, interpreting services. So this would really help us in our task. Also considering that Koreans sometimes also have problems with English, the communication is not always so smooth. Even applying for a visa in Italy could be difficult if everything is in English. So I guess this is quite sad, but we really hope that the new generations, our children, our children's children, the younger Korean adoptees that I mentioned before will be able to, of course, overcome this problem. At the same time, we're looking at Korean adoptees who are on average, let's say, 50 years old. So you don't learn English overnight. And, you're a middle-aged person who goes to a totally foreign country. It can be scary. Please understand that. This is also a problem if we want to relate with other European communities. So everything is fine when we do things, when we arrange gatherings at home, let's say locally, but things change at the international level. So this is one thing we really want to work on. As far as our own initiatives are concerned, every year we organize a so-called Kimchi Day. The Kimchi Day would include, as others of you mentioned, artistic exhibitions, clothes, food, cooking shows. And of course, it is a moment in which we all get together, but which also attracts other people, the K-pop fans, the Korean wave enthusiasts. So it's something that is really appreciated. During these meetings, we like to invite, we make sure we always invite the local institutions, so the ambassadors or the consuls, the Korean consuls. It is very important, and I'm not just saying this because we ask them to sponsor us, but it is important to have their endorsement. So we like to be recognized as as a small community, but which should not embarrass the Korean government. The Korean government should be proud of us. So I think I summed up most of the points that my president left me to talk about, and it's been 5 minutes. So I think this is it, and I thank you very much for listening to me. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much, Kim, for sharing, and these are certainly some challenges for some of the countries. So yes, I think we have one more. Nicholas, is that correct that you will be speaking on behalf of Resin Koyan? Then we can open up the floor afterwards. So Please, Nicolas, go ahead.
Bonjour à tous, je suis Nicolas. Premièrement, j'aimerais vous remercier pour l'organisation de ce forum et préciser quand même mon état d'esprit actuellement. C'est un contexte très formel et un petit peu impressionnant. Et ce que je voudrais dire, c'est que le renforcement d'une collaboration éventuelle avec l'OKA et les différentes associations d'adoptés nationales pourrait passer également par une, des rencontres à la fois avec l'OKA, mais aussi entre les associations nationales en personne, en présentiel. Donc, il y a bien sûr le gathering de l'OKA qui est organisé tous les ans, où certains de nos membres peuvent assister. Et le point sur lequel je voulais insister par rapport aux rencontres en présentiel, c'est avoir l'opportunité d'échanger en personne sur des temps un petit peu plus longs et un petit peu plus détendus, euh, à mon sens, re- facilite vraiment les échanges futurs sur des sujets un petit peu plus profonds, tels que l'identité coréenne, qui est un sujet justement très important pour les adoptés, euh, et donc notamment sur, pour les associations européennes, euh, quand il y a des événements organisés, on essaye d'y aller, même si c'est à l'étranger. Je sais que Laurent est allé en Allemagne l'année dernière. On essaiera d'aller en Belgique cet été. Euh, donc voilà, c'était le premier point que je voulais signaler, c'est-à-dire le soutien aux rencontres en personne quand cela est possible, et notamment via la subvention des frais de déplacement, qui est bien sûr le plus gros souci. Je pense également à un forum, euh, un Leadership Exchange qui aura lieu à New York en juin prochain, et avec les responsables des associations membres de l'ICAA. Donc voilà, toujours dans le sens de renforcer les réseaux et de faciliter la collaboration entre nous. Ensuite, il y a un aspect pour les adopter, faciliter euh, le, l'appropriation de notre culture coréenne, pour moi, passe également par l'acceptation, on va dire, de notre adoption. Par là, je pense aux liens qui ont été rompus avec les familles biologiques. Alors, ce n'est pas forcément le cas pour tous les adoptés, mais certains sont en demande de retrouver ce lien. Euh, et c'est, c'est une facette alors différente de la culture coréenne, de la mission qui est donnée à l'OKA. Mais pour moi, on va dire, cette acceptation d'éventuellement retrouver ses racines biologiques, euh, pour certains, c'est c'est indispensable en fait pour pleinement euh, se réapproprier la culture coréenne au sens large. Et du coup, l'inverse est vrai aussi, c'est-à-dire que le traumatisme de la perte de cette famille biologique est parfois de ne pas parvenir à les retrouver, pourrait créer un blocage justement vis-à-vis de la culture coréenne en général. Euh, alors, je sais qu'il y a d'autres organismes comme le NCRC, bien sûr, qui, eux, sont là pour nous aider dans la recherche de la famille biologique, mais c'est un aspect un petit peu différent de uniquement la culture coréenne, mais qui pour moi fonctionne avec et, et c'est très important sur tous les voyages que les adoptés peuvent faire en Corée. À chaque fois, il y a cette partie-là qui prend beaucoup le pas. Euh, et, et donc, notamment sur les retours, je pense au gathering de l'OKA, euh, qui sont des événements très très intenses où on rencontre beaucoup de monde qui nous ressemble. On a une considération de la part du gouvernement coréen à laquelle on ne s'attendait pas forcément. Et une fois l'événement terminé, quand on rentre chez nous, dans nos pays, c'est toujours une charge psychologique, émotionnelle très très forte. Euh, et pour moi, c'est un lien à, à vraiment prendre en considération, c'est-à-dire de faire savoir aux participants que dans leur pays, il y a des associations qui sont là aussi pour les écouter, pour les aider, et donc bien sûr des associations qui sont présentes ici aujourd'hui. Euh, Par rapport on va dire, la promotion de la culture coréenne et l'appropriation de notre culture coréenne, il y a un projet, par exemple, auquel je pensais, ça serait de promouvoir des échanges avec des étudiants coréens quand ils viennent étudier à l'étranger, donc dans nos pays respectifs en Europe. Euh, je sais que certains, donc étudiants coréens, peuvent se sentir un petit peu perdus également par cette différence de culture. Nous, quand on va en Corée, surtout pour la première fois, on ressent cette différence de culture dans l'autre sens. Et donc, c'est évident que quand un étudiant coréen dans la vingtaine vient étudier en Europe pour un semestre, pour un an, il doit se retrouver confronté à ce même choc des cultures. Je pense que les associations d'adoptés pourraient être intéressées par rencontrer ces étudiants coréens et ça pourrait être bénéfique dans les deux sens, à la fois pour eux et ben, adoucir un petit peu leur, euh, leur plongée dans les cultures européennes. Et pour nous, association d'adoptés, eh bien, en apprendre un petit peu plus, pouvoir côtoyer euh, euh, vraiment des Coréens. Euh, et, et pareillement, que lorsqu'il y a des gatherings ou des voyages organisés en Corée, éventuellement rencontrer des étudiants en langue, donc des étudiants coréens des langues de nos pays. Euh, ça pourrait nous permettre de discuter avec des Coréens et aux étudiants de discuter avec des personnes qui parlent la langue qu'ils sont en train d'étudier. Euh, Sans parler de demander aux étudiants de fournir une prestation d'interprète ou tout ça, mais juste d'avoir des échanges un petit peu informels. Euh, je pense que cela pourrait être bénéfique dans les deux sens. Par ailleurs, pour revenir un petit peu au sujet sur les programmes, activités qui ont lieu en Europe, dans le sens de promouvoir la culture coréenne. En France, il y a un certain nombre de festivals de culture coréenne auxquels participe l'association donc Racine Coréenne. Et donc, je vais pas vous les lister tous, mais j'aimerais juste reparler d'un atelier pour enfants et les familles de manière générale, qui a eu lieu au Centre culturel coréen en novembre dernier. Donc, c'était un atelier avec des origamis, donc le pliage de papier, également apprendre à faire des nœuds coréens, le made-up, un atelier calligraphie, un atelier peinture et un atelier illustration de contes coréens. Alors, c'était du coup principalement orienté sur les enfants. Et comme Laurent disait, notre association est ouverte pas seulement aux Coréens, aux adoptés, mais à toute personne intéressée par la culture coréenne. Et donc, comme on peut le voir sur ces photos, on a eu beaucoup de participants qui n'ont pas forcément de lien biologique avec la Corée, mais qui ont manifesté un intérêt suffisamment fort pour venir s'essayer à ces différents ateliers. Je pense que ça, c'est un très bon moyen pour promouvoir la culture coréenne et ce genre d'événement est à organiser, c'est très intéressant. Ça permet également de rencontrer et d'échanger avec beaucoup de monde. Et, euh, et donc voilà à peu près ce que je souhaitais partager avec vous sur comment, de notre côté, promouvoir un peu la culture coréenne.
Thank you very much, Nicola, for sharing all these thoughtful insights and great ideas. I would now like to open up the floor for additional reflections, comments from everyone. Please use the raise your hand button. Yes, so we have Frederic from Cub from Belgium. Please go ahead.
Hello, everybody. So I'm Frederick from the Belgium Association. I just want to make, a question. I want to ask if it's possible to have the dates of the OK gathering at least 6 months or 1 year before, because we like to promote these activities from OK, return to sources for more people. I know it's complicated, but we try to, to promote these activities to all participants, all members in Belgium, especially because there's a great interest. And the best way to have as many people coming to discover the country again is to promote as soon as possible, because most of the people have to ask for the off-day holidays the year before. That is my proposition.
Thank you very much for sharing. Okay, Kim Giggle. Go ahead and share.
Hi, thank you very much, Lisa. And what Frederick just said is very interesting. For example, today is a national holiday in Italy. So we all have to make do with the various holidays and arrangements. But I wanted to say something with regards to what Nicolas said before. All the activities, the light, fun, entertaining things we do at gatherings, very important. I wanted to say something about what we did last time during our Kimchi Day. In the afternoon, we had 2 separate sessions. One was about serious issues, for example, birth family search, that kind of DNA testing, etc. But at the same time, we had another session going on, which was still, which was a light kind of thing. So cooking class, Korean clothes show, exhibition, etc. And we found it very, very useful because, we have different desires, issues, and some of us are interested in, looking for birth families. Some of us aren't. The younger generations wouldn't be interested. Some discussions are more serious, political. And so this idea of offering, let's say, 2 channels during the gatherings, I think it was very useful. It proved successful in our case, and maybe you do the same. And we could, I don't know, learn from each other. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much. Is there anyone else on the call who would like to share? We have more leaders of the European organizations present here, so just feel free to raise your hand. Yes. All right, then I think Deputy Director Kim can conclude the session.
네, 감사합니다. 지금 세션, 2번째 세션 활발하게 의견 주셨습니다. 그러면 다음으로 이제 마지막 세션입니다. 3번째 세션 주제 2024년 세계 한인 입양 동포 대회 그룹 토의 안건 제안을 시작하겠습니다. 패널로는 코리안 어답트 인 벨지움의 회장인 프레드릭 반데 프라셰 님이 진행해 주시겠습니다. 자장님 토론 진행 부탁드리겠습니다.
Yes, thank you. And just for our final topic for today, again, Frederic van der Plas from CAB in Belgium. Please go ahead.
Est-ce que je peux avoir la présentation? Voilà. Donc voilà, je vais vous un peu raconter l'histoire de CAB, de Korean Adoptees in Belgium, qui a été créée en 2023. Donc c'est une jeune association. Je vais voir le slide suivant, s'il vous plaît. Next. Voilà. Non. Genre aussi, pardon, je vais faire juste une petite, un petit speech. Voilà. Today we gather as adoptees, united by deep bond, sharing not only a country, but a common history. We understand the ups and downs of this unique journey, the challenges and the triumph that have marked our path. Together, we have the ability to thank these that united us. It's possible the first one, please, is too quick. We can support each other moderately, offering a listening ear, passionate ear to those going through difficult times. We can support each other physically, being there for one another in times of need, whether it's a shoulder to lean on, or a helping hand to move forward. By becoming together as a community, as adoptees, we can share experience, hopes, and dreams. We can inspire each other and find a comfort in knowing that we are not alone in this journey. Donc, Korean Adoptees in Belgium était créé donc, le 26 janvier 2023. C'était créé sur l'ancienne structure qui s'appelait CAB, mais nous avons gardé donc les mêmes goals et les mêmes valeurs. Le 5 février, nous avons notre première réunion ICAR. Le 10 juillet 2023, la première réunion à Séoul, organisée par ICAR et sponsorisée par OCA. Nous avons eu la chance de rencontrer donc physiquement les autres associations, les autres équipes des associations et de présenter la nôtre. Next. Alors, le premier contact qu'on a eu, c'était avec Racine Coréenne. Voilà, voyons, on est pays voisin, donc c'est plus facile. Et c'est Céline qui nous a invités. Super rencontre. Nous avons des discussions donc, sur tous les sujets et projets que nos chers amis français avaient déjà organisés. C'est pour ça que je les remercie encore. Et le second contact qu'on a eu, le second contact, c'était avec l'organisation allemande. C'était autant de, je pense que c'était un autre team. Et nous avons eu le contact avec les Danois, Korean Klubben. Super aussi discussion, échange d'informations. Et après ça, donc, on a eu le Gathering 2023 à Séoul, et que là, nous a vraiment permis de se rapprocher des autres associations, d'échanger donc nos liens, nos cartes de visite, et ça nous a vraiment permis donc de se faire reconnaître aussi dans le monde entier de l'association. Next. Alors, comment nous avons donc organisé des cross-organization promotion and networking. Donc, nous avons surtout utilisé donc, les réseaux sociaux, donc via Facebook, les pages Facebook et Slack, et surtout au niveau de Slack, les promotions dans les discussions inter-organisationnelles. Nous avons permis d'avoir donc d'échanger des idées, des sources de financement aussi éventuellement, des informations au niveau donc législation de chaque pays, etc., etc. Donc, je remercie comme ICA aussi sur les différents web meetings qu'on nous a eu avec eux. C'est grâce à cette organisation aussi que nous avons eu beaucoup de support au niveau donc législation coréenne et information au niveau des adoptions. Ils nous ont permis aussi donc d'avoir des expériences inter-agences. Par exemple, donc, le nouveau board en Italie qui nous a permis donc, de s'entraider, quoi. Justement, je vais faire un petit coucou aussi. Jusqu'à maintenant, ce sont les seuls moyens que nous avons utilisés. Donc, nous sommes ouverts aussi à toute autre promotion, système de networking. Et voilà, je voudrais vous remercier déjà pour avoir bien écouté la présentation. À vous.
Thank you, Frederick, for sharing. Very interesting to hear. Yes, so let's open up the floor for additional observations or comments from anyone.
If I just add that Sarah Marichal is also from the board, is also present and online. So she can also add some values if she wants.
I'm sorry, Sarah, we're having a hard time hearing you. Or at least I have.
Do you hear me?
Yes, but I think Sarah was trying to speak, but I could not hear her well,
Okay.
unfortunately.
So like this, is that okay?
Yes,
for you?
now I can hear you. Yes, thank you.
So thanks, Frederick, for the presentation. And so I will represent you in Seoul and in New York this year to represent our association and to discuss about different topics. So I'm very pleased to meet you physically. So thanks a lot.
Yes, thank you, Sarah. I also look forward to meeting you in person again this year. Do we have other people on the call who would like to share?
In that case, if I may, I will just make some announcement of the future activities we're going to have in this year. The 20th of July, we're going to have the sport day with Squid Games. So everybody's welcome. And the 27th, if I'm not mistaken, October, we're going to have the adoption day. It's going to be a whole debates and workshop around adoption, so the people can have the possibility to come with the adoption files, and we're gonna show them the way to make the research. Have the contact with other organization in Korea, and also maybe have the DNA test if they want to, and we're gonna have a presence of a psychologist also who can help some people in need. And the NDF Gala, the 7th December. We also invite you if you are willing to come. It's going to be also the best moment to promote Korean culture via certain events and Korean karaoke. So if you want to have some fun, you are welcome.
Yes, thank you for that. That sounds like a really nice event. Again, anyone who would like to share? Please feel free to take the opportunity to do so. No, I cannot see any raised hands at this point. All right, I think, yes, that we can then conclude this part of the meeting. And I know that there is also an opportunity. Yes, okay, please go ahead, Frederick.
Yeah, just want to say, Mia wants to...
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, please go ahead, Jelly. I didn't see that.
So, sorry. First of all, I would like to apologize that I was not able to join the pain list, but I didn't have the time to make the presentation. So I would like to, I'm representing Korea Klubben together with Yanni, and we are both ICA representatives. In Korea Klubben, we have a lot of events during the year. Last year, we had actually 67 events during the year. So that was more than one event every week. In the board, we use a lot of time, volunteer hours, to make this possible. As an event, we have, of course, our the year. We have some events that will be repeated every year. Actually, I think it's easier for me to talk French, but we have our Camp Fall, which is our biggest event. Every first weekend of October, we gather about 80 people, adoptees with families, with children, and we make a weekend from Friday to Sunday. When
We seem to have lost Mia. Let's see if she can reconnect. All right. It seems like we lost her for now. Is there anyone else? I'm sorry, I missed the waving hand.
Are you able to hear me?
Yes, no. Okay, now we can hear you. Now we are back.
Okay, sorry.
Yes.
Yeah, my internet connection was unstable. Sorry. I don't know how much you heard, but our biggest event junior year is our camp fall, where we are about 80 people together, adoptees with friends and children and families. We have a lot of different workshops during the weekend. We have activities as taekwondo, language course, dumpling course. We make a very big gala dinner Saturday evening. Yeah, that's one of our biggest things. We also have a lot of time regarding therapeutic conversations. I think actually this year we are trying to have 4 weekends or sessions. I'm not really sure about that. Where we gather also to talk about more difficult subjects as being adopted, the difficulties we have as an adoptee regarding relations, how you connect with other people and in your partnership, with your family, your children, your friends, and so on. Beside that, we have late summer weekend where we also are together for 1 whole weekend. We meet for monthly member dinner. We try to we try to create one in every other month, one in the west and one in the east. So we are sure to include the whole country. Beside that, we make also Korean language course. We have. It's really difficult to remember every event we have because we have so many. But I don't know, Yanni, can you add? I don't know. What do we have?
Well, I don't know how to unmute myself.
We hear you now.
I'm unmuted. Okay, sorry. I just lost my bar in the button where I can raise my hand and unmute myself. So yeah, thank you. Yes, it's correct. We have like a lot of events going on with Koreaklubben, and actually today we are going to what is it called?
Summer house.
What is it called? Summer house. Actually, we
Yeah,
have
I think
booked a house for a whole weekend, and we'll be like 20 people joining in with swimming pool and everything. And in that weekend, we are gonna do different kinds of events. So we have like these talk box sessions, and we will have like Mia will do the kimchi workshop as well. So I think that's maybe some of the DNA in Koreaklubben. We are trying to do the weekends settings, and they are quite expensive and it takes a lot of preparation. But in these weekends, we are able to put in smaller programs. So a lot of our members will find exactly what they would like to join in on. So I think that's a good way to do it, because it's also how is your physical form that day? Do you want to do the easy stuff? Do you want to do the kimchi workshop, or do you want to have the talkbook sessions? In that way, I think the weekends events with Koreaklubben is very, very important, but it also takes like a lot of preparation and also very costful. And in that way, I think the OKA should support us much, much better. So all organizations would be able to throw these events for our members in all countries. Yeah, thanks.
I would like to add that we also working on past group, a past team, or how to say, where we would like to help people who want to find the family and the procedure about it, how do you want to start up, because it can be very difficult to know what to do, and there are so many different ways to do it. So we want to make this team of people who have tried to do it, who have worked with it for a longer time, and we would like to do these workshops 2-3 times a year. And yeah, so we do a lot of things for our members, and we are also an organization where we have a member fee, but of course with so many activities it's not easy to, how to say, have enough money for all the things. So yeah, but yeah, I don't know what more to say. But we do a lot of things for our members, and it is very important for the adoptees to have this network. And also, as Jenny said, this weekend we have, it's better when we are together for a longer time, because that's really good to be able to talk about these kind of things. And our network within the Korean Association is it's very, it's another friendship you have with the Korean adoptees, and it's kind of your extra family, you can say. So it's really appreciated. And of course, don't forget, we have our gathering, our 35 years anniversary next year in Copenhagen from 11th till 13th of July. And we are about to planning everything now, and we really hope to see a lot of people from all over the world. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mia and Jenny, for sharing about your programming and your challenges. Any more? Anyone else who wants to share? Yes, Nicolas, please go ahead.
Merci. J'aimerais revenir un petit peu sur l'organisation du prochain gathering organisé par l'OKA qui a lieu en mai. Par rapport, étant donné que la plupart des participants invités, normalement, ne sont jamais revenus en Corée auparavant, pour leur présenter la culture coréenne, particulièrement à eux, mais également plus généralement à tout le monde. En fait, ce que je voudrais dire, c'est que on a tous des connaissances sur la culture coréenne, qui est, je dirais, assez présente au quotidien. On entend beaucoup parler de la Corée, nous en tout cas en France. Et donc, on a tous notre, un petit peu notre avis sur la culture, qui sont des impressions très personnelles. Et à l'occasion du gathering, pour parler un petit peu de la culture vraiment de l'intérieur aux personnes qui éventuellement on connaîtraient un petit peu moins la Corée, je me disais que peut-être inviter à parler non pas des Coréens, mais des expatriés vivant en Corée depuis plusieurs années. Ce que je veux dire, c'est que le point de vue d'un étranger sur une culture est totalement différent du point de vue d'un national. Moi, par exemple, qui suis français, si je vous parle de la culture française à quelqu'un qui connaît peu, ça va pas être la même vision qu'un étranger qui a déjà sa propre culture et qui viendrait vivre dans mon pays depuis plusieurs années et qui pourrait justement parler plus facilement des différences culturelles, de comment non pas s'intégrer, mais de comment s'adapter vis-à-vis de cette nouvelle culture encore une fois, qu'on connaît beaucoup de par la vague Hallyu, mais à laquelle les participants au gathering n'ont pas forcément été confrontés auparavant, avant leur voyage. Par ailleurs, pour l'apprentissage de la langue coréenne, ça me semble un point très important. Alors, apprendre une langue, bien sûr, ça demande un investissement personnel en temps que tout le monde n'a pas la possibilité de s'y consacrer pleinement, vie professionnelle, les vies de famille, tout ça. En France, il y a beaucoup de centres d'écoles de langue coréenne. Et je pense que mais il y en a beaucoup, mais il y en a aussi beaucoup, enfin, pour lesquels il y a beaucoup de candidats, puisque la Corée est très à la mode. Euh, et donc, avoir un programme de subvention réservé aux adoptés, pouvoir apprendre la langue dans une école, ça me semblerait une bonne chose. Parce que bah, les cours, bien sûr, alors il y en a qui sont gratuits et réservés aux adoptés, mais les places très limitées. Donc voilà pour ce point. Et par ailleurs, pour parler un petit peu de la deuxième génération, comme l'a dit Tom tout à l'heure, permettre justement aux enfants d'adopter de s'inscrire par eux-mêmes au gathering, ça me semblerait une bonne chose. Euh, il y en a qui sont demandeurs de, de découverte de la culture coréenne, de côtoyer d'autres personnes, mais et donc qui seraient très très intéressés par les gatherings, qui sont des événements vraiment extraordinaires pour cela, en termes d'immersion. Euh, mais leurs parents adoptés, qui du coup seraient les personnes pouvant s'inscrire au gathering et les enfants les accompagner, les parents adoptés ne sont pas forcément intéressés, ou certains parfois sont même décédés. Ce qui fait que l'enfant, donc la deuxième génération, ne peut pas participer au gathering. Et à mon sens, comme le disait Tom, ouvrir l'inscription aux enfants, majeurs évidemment, ça serait, ça serait vraiment chouette, même si je sais que le nombre de places, c'est compliqué d'accueillir beaucoup de monde. Mais quoi qu'il en soit, merci beaucoup pour ces événements. Merci.
Where there is a transfer here. I mean, it was easier with all things.
I mean, and we said it's not possible if any for this.
Excuse-moi, je pense
Thank
que
you very much. Yes. So I could see first it was actually Danny. I believe you were raising your hand, so please go ahead.
Oh, thank you. Well, I was just thinking that maybe the OKA could consider to invite families that have reunited together with the Birth Family Search program, and maybe even have someone in the speak up panel as Koreans who have given up their children for adoption, if that's possible, to hear their thoughts and their struggles and what they have been doing for the last years until reuniting. I think that would be very, very interesting for many of us, for the audience who's adopted. Thank you.
Thank you, Danny, for sharing that. And Sarah from Park, please go ahead.
yes, I wrote in the chat, but I think children of Korean adoptees are invited at this gathering, no? Nicola. So, if I'm not wrong, the second generation is also invited.
Yes, thank you, Sarah, for your question, and I believe that is the case. And for this gathering, that you could bring +1 as a family member. Yes. Thank you. So, anyone of the speakers who have not, or the present here today, like Lydia, Muriel, Minsuk, would you like to share anything? No?
If I just may again.
Yes, sure. Please go ahead.
What's it in French? Alors, je reviens sur une proposition. Les cours de langue coréenne sont en général payants. Ce serait bien éventuellement qu'on puisse avoir des fundings de OKA pour donner ces cours de coréen, de langue coréenne gratuitement aux adoptés et même à la seconde génération, ce qui les motiverait peut-être plus à venir en Corée. Merci.
Yes, thank you for that suggestion. All right. Do we have anyone else wanting to share this? Since this was the last topic for today.
네,
예,
예, 리디아 손 들었 걸로 봅니다. 리디아?
Okay. Yes, please go ahead.
No, not me, Lydia.
예, 리디아?
Oui, vous m'entendez? Pardon. Est-ce que la main est OK? Non, mais je voulais juste dire que j'étais, enfin, j'ai pas plus à ajouter, mais juste dire que oui, effectivement, l'intégration des secondes générations est très importante, sachant que les secondes générations actuellement, ils peuvent être de l'âge de, on va dire, de 3, enfin de bébé jusqu'à maintenant 30, 40, 50 ans, donc finalement de l'âge de nous coréens adoptés. Donc de les prendre en considération, c'est quelque chose qui est très important et pourrait appuyer le fait que également la grosse barrière, c'est souvent de pouvoir s'exprimer en coréen. Donc effectivement, l'accès aux cours de coréen de manière peut-être alors gratuite, je sais pas, mais en tout cas que ce soit plus facile et plus accessible et pour les adoptés et les secondes générations qui sont très en demande. Je pense que oui, c'est quelque chose qui serait appréciable pour tous, qui permettrait aussi de pouvoir améliorer l'identité de chacun, dans le sens pour les adoptés et les secondes générations. Voilà, pas plus à ajouter.
Thank you, Lydia, so much for sharing. Yes,
Lisa?
All right. Any final comments, or observations, reflections from the
I would like
topics
to
discussed
add
today?
something, but
Yes.
can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Mia. Please go ahead.
But I can't find the hand raised button. I was just thinking regarding the second generation, and it's really appreciated that we get the opportunity from OKA to go to Korea on their cost. But actually, my personal feeling is that these OKAs gathering, I would prefer personally that instead of inviting a spouse or a children, I think the OKA gathering should be for adoptees, because we have another network, we have another way to be together, and then OKA maybe could arrange a gathering for second generation, our children. I think that could be another reunion for them and another way to find how to say a good network within our community. Because I think at the gathering I went to in 2022, I think we were about 150 Korean adoptees, and together with a spouse or child or so. And instead, we could have been 300 adoptees together. I think that would actually be better. If you continue to do like you do, maybe you should make second generation tables. And I think also the countries should be a little bit more mixed. We had a Danish table, and it was difficult just to mingle with other countries. And that was my thoughts about the OKA, because we had these, I think we were 18 from Denmark, and you kind of just stuck with the Danish people. You have to be, it's more difficult to go just for another table and talk to them. So I think it would be better to mix, and of course you should have one or two from your own country that you can be together with, and then you can mingle with the other tables. Then that's my idea.
Yes, thank you, Mia. Now we have Frederick again. Please go ahead.
I just want to join, Mia, for a proposal. Why not organize a gathering for the second generation? It's going to be the future leaders from our organization maybe in the future. So why not? It's a very good idea, Mia.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Any final comments? No? I cannot see any raised hands. But yes, before wrapping up for today, I would actually like to take the opportunity to introduce myself a bit properly. So good morning and good afternoon again. My name is Lisa Dahlgren. I'm the Vice President of ICA, and I'm a former President of AKF in Sweden. So ICA, or the International Korean Adoptee Associations, was founded 20 years ago, and with the idea of bringing together the global Korean adoptee community. And we have since been working involving many of the local organizations, and who are all volunteer-led. And I think it's pretty amazing to see all the work and efforts going into supporting our fellow adoptees and also connecting with Korea and strengthening our bonds. And it was exciting to see so many of you, the leaders of the European organizations, present here today. So thank you so much for sharing all your experiences and opinions. I hope that will be very valuable. And of course, we would like to thank OKA for arranging this online forum and for the opportunity to strengthen our collaboration together and to reach our common goals. And to touch upon what what you shared, I think it's crucial for us to take this further, to have the opportunities to really meet in person, to build stronger relationships and strengthen our ties. And it takes both a lot of efforts time-wise and financially, since we are global, spread out. And as you also mentioned, we will host a leadership exchange event in New York, bringing together representatives from 16 organizations. So we're looking forward to that and to further share our experiences. And yes, again, I'm very grateful for all the work that all of you are doing in your local communities. And I think there were some good points to summarize this session today. In addition to the importance of meeting up the leaders of the community in person, then also the pointing out the challenges that we are facing with language and especially for some of the countries where not many are speaking English, and also the opportunities to really learn more Korean and to learn about the culture. And I think there were some good ideas also for the OK gathering on how to close in that gap and to learn from like Korean students or Koreans to understand the cultural differences. And yeah, we just grateful to be recognized as Koreans, though we have our own set of challenges with this trauma of not only losing our birth families, our language and culture. So we are looking forward to partnering with you from the OK side. And I think for the adoptees joining here, should you have any questions to OK, it's fine to ask them now, or you can otherwise reach out through email. So again, thank you for allowing us to share, and I hope that it will be I'm sure it will be a wonderful time for the OK, those attending the gathering in May. So thank you, and I hand it over to you, Deputy Director Kim.
네, 오늘 자장님 마무리 말씀 감사합니다. 지금 자장님 말씀하신 대로 저희 재외동포청은 여러분들의 여러 가지 좋은 의견을 언제나 들을 경청할 준비가 되어 있으니까 서슴없이 언제나 저희에게 연락을 주시면 저희가 잘 유념하도록 하겠습니다. 그럼 마지막으로 저희 재외동포청의 차세대 동포 인권과 김채영 과장님의 클로징 멘트가 있겠습니다.
네, 여러분 정말 긴 시간 고생 많으셨습니다. 먼저 제일 가장 중요한 것은 저희가 지금 추진하고 있는 사업이나 또 저희가 가지고 있는 정보들을 여러분과 실시간으로 공유를 많이 해야겠다, 이런 생각이 많이 듭니다. 정보를 공유하고 그 정보를 활용할 수 있도록 도와드리는 게 제일 첫 번째 필요한 일이 아닌가, 이렇게 생각합니다. 그래서 우리 미스터 S.J. 킴 통해서 여러분이 하고 계시는 그런 단체 활동이나 또 우리 OKA에 궁금하신 사항들을 아주 사소한 것이라도 알려주시면 저희들이 그것을 가지고 소통을 계속해 나갔으면 좋겠다, 이런 생각을 하게 되었고요. 또 오늘 여러 가지 말씀 주신 것들을 저희가 계속해서 어떻게 실행해서 서비스해 드릴 수 있을지 그것을 고민하게 되는 계기가 되었던 것 같습니다. 앞에 오전에 북미 지역에서 입양동포 네트워크를 좀 가졌었는데요. 또 미국하고 다르게 또 유럽은 유럽대로 여러 가지 언어 문제라든가 이런 부분들에 어려운 부분이 있다는 것을 다시 알게 되었고요. 이것을 해결하기 위해서 계속해서 노력해 나가겠습니다. 오늘 그리고 좌장으로 그 역할을 멋지게 수행해 주신 아이카의 우리 리사 델그린 씨에게도 깊은 감사드립니다. 그리고 오늘은 이 시간을 계기로 해서 앞으로 재외동포청과 입양동포 단체장님 여러분들의 그 협력이 계속 지속될 수 있기를 기대합니다. 그리고 오늘 해주신 여러 말씀은 저희가 5월에 개최되는 세계 한인 입양동포 대회에 잘 반영을 해서 더욱 네트워크 구축과 교류 협력을 강화하는 계기로 삼겠습니다. 다시 한번 오늘 그 긴 시간 또 휴일인데도 불구하고 또 참여해 주신 여러분께 또 감사드리고요. 앞으로도 지속해서 지속적으로 소통할 수 있도록 되면 좋겠습니다. 대단히 감사합니다.
네, 말씀 감사합니다. 이것으로 2024년 온라인 입양 동포 단체장 포럼 모든 일정을 마무리하도록 하겠습니다. 오늘 포럼을 위해 바쁘신 시간 내어주신 토론 자장을 또 진행해주신 리사 달그랜 부회장님, 아이카 부회장님, 기타 모든 패널분들, 또한 유럽 세션에 참가하신 모든 참가자분들께 감사의 말씀을 드립니다. 또 귀한 시간 함께 해주신 경청해 주시고 또 다시 한번 모든 단체장님들 감사드리고 저희 지금 차세대 동포 인권과장님 말씀하신 것처럼 저희가 언제나 입양 동포 단체장분들 의견 잘 유념할 수 있도록 준비하도록 하겠습니다. 감사합니다.